Global drone program shows that it's inaccurate, that it's not a mean to target people, and the conclusion is that drones shouldn't be armed and that drones are the wrong mean to fight international terrorism.
If I had to live my life under drones, or I was going to go gardening in my yard and I turn around and my mother's dead because of a drone strike, I'm going to turn against the people who sent the drone there.
I think that what we have to demand is accountability and respect for the rule of law, and we don't have that in the United States right now.
Killing of terrorist suspects by the United States have been a reality since the early 2000s. But in Europe, with the exception of the United Kingdom, these debates remain on the margins of the political discussions and of the major policy-making debates. Germany does not possess armed drones, but it has decided in January 2016 to lease up to 5 arms-capable Israeli Heron TP drones.
If we want to find a terrorist, we must be convinced that they're terrorists. So we rely on the technology, but it's actually very easy to fool a thermal imagery system if you want to, by hiding under a blanket, hiding under a tree. It is actually not physically possible to be sure that you can see somebody on the ground. There's a book by a guy by the name of Mark McCurley. He's a former Predator pilot, very pro-drone, and he himself says it is hard to tell the difference between a cigarette and a weapon, because they're both sources of heat.
I don't believe that technology can solve the problems of humanity. I don't believe that an algorithm is going to be a good descriptor of a culture that's been around thousands of years longer than my own. I also want to say that, I've used a GPS, right? I've looked for food, looked for a diner, looked for somewhere to eat, and ended up in the wrong place. And that's okay if I'm looking for pizza. It is not okay if that's one of the methods that I'm using that ends up in a child dying. To me, living under that, where I don't know from the ground when ordnance is gonna fall out of this machine in the sky, that to me is called terror. But what I can say as a human being is that terror is wrong, no matter who does it.
George W. Bush was bad. Barack Obama, frankly, was worse. And now we have a madman leading the country. But we have to force our elected officials to understand what our positions are. We have to force them to understand that we are right and they are wrong, and that the policy has to be changed. Whether it's with Stuttgart, or it's closing Guantanamo, or it's a torture program, or whatever it is, we have to be relentless so that they do what we say. It's people power.
We would not know about the greatest sins of the U.S. government in recent years without whistleblowers. We would not know about torture, we would not know about mass surveillance, NSA surveillance, and we would not know everything that we know about the drone program.
The last decade, basically, the U.S. drone program had over 1,000 strikes and killed an unknown number of people, which goes into the thousands.
What goes around comes around. If we are going to, as countries, as societies, terrorize those who live in less developed, poor countries, then we are absolutely deluded if we don't understand that what goes around will come around. That to fuel the fires of violence, to inflict through high technology in the case of drones, the terror and the suffering that does take place on the ground. To think that that won't affect us is just wrong.
We do need global governance for this type of technology. And the second thing I would say is that until there is governance and treaties, we need to take the weapons off of drones. We need to remove the bombs.